What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about concealed carry on a motorcycle and how you should do it, why you should do it, and what are some of the biggest concerns that people have while doing it. And of course, my answer to any of you guys that have ever asked me, do you carry on a motorcycle? Absolutely. It's just like any other vehicle to me. Just like anywhere else I want to go, I want to have the option to protect myself in case that situation comes up. So yes, I do it, and there are some things to think about when you do it. Now, my number one option is inside the waistband, and that's no different on a motorcycle than it is in a car. So the biggest thing you need to think about when you're especially on a motorcycle is get a good holster. I say this all the time, and it is even more true on a bike, because the last thing you want is your concealed carry firearm rolling down the highway at 60 miles an hour. That's not good for anybody, including you, especially you. So you don't want that. Get something with good retention. Okay, get a good holster. Don't cheap out on this. Even if it's a holster you just carry for riding your motorcycle, you want a good holster. That's number one. Now obviously we have links to Tolster, and we also started working with Envato holsters. So throughout this video I'm going to show you some examples, show you what that looks like on the bike. Obviously I can't do it right here, but I will show you some examples of how that looks while you're riding your motorcycle. Now let's address one concern here really quick. Not only do you want your gun not rolling down the highway as you're going along, you also don't want it, your shirt flapping in the wind and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to address that as well. Let's talk about inside the waistband carry first, because this is what I prefer anytime. All right, this is a very comfortable way to carry most of the time, and when you're on your motorcycle, to me this is going to be the quickest way to get to your firearm. So it's not just about carrying it and having it on you, it's also about quick access, because really what's the point if you have to dig through your saddlebags or dig through a pocketbook or anything like that? You want to be able to get to it. So that's the quickest way to get to it. And again, good retention. You want to make sure that firearm is secure inside your waistband as you're going along. Some things you may want to think about: tuckable clips. Now these are something that even like Tolster holsters, they don't have a tuckable clip option, but there are aftermarket companies that can provide you a tuckable clip, so that way you can actually tuck your shirt in over the clip and the gun's not going to be flapping out in the wind and people seeing it as they're riding behind you or beside you. So that's one thing that you could do. Now you could also do what I do most of the time, and that's actually tuck my shirt in a little bit, kind of around it, and then have my jacket on over it. So most of the time I'm wearing my jacket. It's hot. It's 95 to 100 degrees every single day right now in summer, so I get a little lazy with this, but having that jacket on over it, it's snug enough where it's gonna hug up against my body really well. And then I also have the shirt kind of tucked in around the gun, so if anything's flapping, it's gonna be on this side where it's not tucked in. So that really helps to keep the firearm concealed, because that's what we do, we conceal carry, but also gives you pretty quick access, so you can still pull your shirt up quick enough, get the jacket out of the way to be able to get to it if you need it. Now, if that's not a good option for you, one method that I've just started recently doing since we found Envato holsters is pocket carry. This is absolutely fantastic. So now you take away the whole idea of it flapping in the wind. If you have a passenger, Mrs. Headshot, sometimes when I'm carrying inside the waistband, it'll dig into her legs, so that takes that part of it away. Your feet are up on the floorboards or the pegs, and this is a great option. And you can still get to it relatively quick. Not as quick as inside the waistband, but very quick, and also it eliminates all of the things that we just talked about, the chances of that coming out. But again, you want to make sure you have good retention. Don't just go out and buy a cheap $20 holster from Walmart. We started working with Envato. I have a link down below to them and Tolster, whatever models or whichever one fits you best. I'll have a link down below for you guys. But the pocket carry is a great option, especially on a motorcycle. Now the next option we're going to talk about is shoulder holsters. This is going to be another good option. If you have a jacket especially, you can put the shoulder holster up under the jacket, or if you have a light flannel shirt or something like that that has some buttons that you can get up underneath, you want to make sure that you're not buttoning it all the way up and then having to unbutton that to get to your gun. You want to make sure again that you have quick access. But shoulder holster is a great option. Now remember, when you carry in a shoulder holster, it's likely going to be pointed at your passenger if you have one on the back. So you want to keep that in mind. Again, get a good holster, something that's going to protect the trigger. And there are also concealed carry shirts that you can get that allow those buttons. They're pretty much like fake buttons that allow you to get quick access to get in there, reach for your gun if in fact you need it. And this is another good option that you don't have to worry about the wind or anything like that, it being exposed to the elements, because it's underneath your clothing. Now here's one pro tip I'm going to tell you guys. If you do this, and I hope that you guys will take some of these considerations, but whatever firearm you have on you, make sure that the trigger guard is big enough to get a gloved hand in. If you're wearing your gear, hopefully you are. I'm not going to tell you should or should not, but well, actually I will. I think you should. But especially if you're wearing gloves, you want to make sure that your finger can get in there to manipulate the trigger, if in case you have to do that. So that's my pro tip to you guys. Now the last option we're going to talk about is saddlebag carry, and there are a lot of companies that will make holsters that will Velcro to the inside of the saddlebag that will allow you to reach back. Now this is not going to be the best. This is not going to be the quickest way, because again, you have to go through 2 steps now to get to your firearm, unlatch the saddlebags. Hopefully it's easy enough to unlatch, pull the firearm out. But it's a good option if you don't want the firearm on you, if you don't want it pointed at your passenger, if you're worried about those kinds of things. All right, this is a good option where you can at least have quick access. And this is also a good option if you have a job that does not allow you to carry at work. Then you can have this in a locked vehicle. Okay, and that's something I want to tell you guys is, if you go to work, you have a strict firearm policy, or even if you have a policy at like my job, I cannot carry inside of my place of business, but inside of a locked vehicle, per state law, I can. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure your state laws, you're up to speed on those kinds of things, because with a lockable saddlebag, you can put the firearm in there. It's accessible to you if you need it on the road, but you can also keep it in there during the day when you're at work. Alright, so those are my tips to you guys that are carrying while riding a motorcycle. There are ways to do it. There are ways to do it every single day, and that's what I'm all about here. So if you guys have any awesome, unique, or different ways that you carry on your motorcycle, make sure you leave me a comment down below, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.